It's 12:15. You know what time it is. It is time for the Sports Hour presented by Curtis Collings. I'm very excited for this episode, even though it was a bit of a heartbreaking weekend for me. So, regardless of that, we are just, we're going to get into it. Excuse that. We're jumping into it. Excuse the nose, too. I don't know why allergies are picking up pretty bad right now. But, we pushed through it. We pushed through week one losses because we have to, no matter how tough they are. So, we're doing it. Little surprise appearance of Twitter time later on, which we haven't done that in a very long time. So, hey, excited about that. And, a little less excited to talk about how the game went. So, if you missed it, if you live under a rock, I'm a big Panthers fan. I love them. And it's to a fault sometimes, so that game won. That's what we call a fault. Now, being optimistic is something I'll never not be. Oh, I think we could still hang 28 points on the Falcons' head tomorrow on the road. I'm still confident in Bryce Young. I'm still confident in Tedero McMillan, who looked fantastic. But I'll save that when we get into the good. For now, we'll just talk about Panthers week one. We'll just objectively look at the game, go through the drives, go through some plays, and then we'll talk about more specific stuff after. So the game would start off with us on defense, which I like. I like starting on defense, getting the ball to start the second half, just so long as it's a close game. And, I would say this was pretty much the whole way. So first drive, they had so many plays, and they had two separate penalties for holding, which were 10-yard penalties, and both times they got holding penalties, they dug their way back and got easy catches, easy conversions, easy runs. We made Travis Etienne, the brother of Trevor, look like $1,000,000. We made him look like the best back in the league again. He had a 71-yard run against us, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Their first drive was pretty good, but it would not end in a touchdown. They would get a field goal. It would be 13 plays, which that's a lot of plays to be, constantly converting and getting first downs and penalties and first downs and constantly. But regardless, they'd kick a field goal and then we'd get our chance on offense. And I actually thought it looked pretty good. The run game looked good. Our O-line looked a little shaky. Of course, we have our backup left tackle. His name is Yosh. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, Yosh. Yeah, it's a let me see. It's a Nijman. Either way, he was not good. And our center, Austin Corbett. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. We'll talk about this later. But our drive would be 13 plays of our own, and we'd kick a field goal of our own. Our rookie kicker goes 1-for-1 to start his career. Shout out to him. Lil Fitzgerald action. It wasn't the greatest, but, it was a fine drive, solid drive. And it would be a 48-yard field goal, which I think that's, it's not the best drive, but, for Fitzgerald, very makeable. We'd give the ball back to them and get a defensive stop. It looked actually promising. 3 plays, punt, 36 seconds would be all it takes to get the ball back. We're doing an objective look at the game, so I'm not going to get into it right now. I promise I won't get into it right now because of our objective look at this game, but oh man. Was I frustrated or what? Because it would take 2 plays for us to give them the ball right back on an interception. Which, if you looked at Bryce Young's stats last year, that was not a thing he did very often. I mean, to start the season, yes, he loves throwing picks and fumbles in the first game of the year. But to end the year last year, which is the Bryce I thought that we were going to see this year, he had 3 straight games, no interceptions. The game before that, 2 picks against the Cowboys. And this was a very similar game to that Cowboys game, which does give me optimism. This was a far cry from the Bryce Young of the Saints and Chargers games of week 1 and 2 last year. This was way similar to what we saw against like the Cowboys or the Broncos last year, where they played a defense that matched up against them very well, and they did what they could. And this Bryce Young actually, in my opinion, stayed very composed, made some good throws, had some unfortunate drops, and it's not something I'm worried about. If we're being honest with each other, I think we could go into next week and put up 28 points. I said it before, I'll say it again. Not worried. This was just a tough game 1. You know what would have been better? If we played more preseason games. Dave Canales at the end of preseason said this is a team that looked unprepared, like unready, like they weren't doing the foundational things, the basics correctly. And you know how you fix that? You play preseason games with your starters because they're young. They can take the mileage. Don't play the old guys. They don't got to play. But your center, Austin Corbett, he sucks. There was a center battle between him and Cade Mays, and Cade Mays was the center last year when Bryce was good. Why is he not playing? Cade Mays is good. He can play. Brady Christensen is good. He can play. Why is Austin Corbett the worst center I've seen in my entire life? Ahead of myself. Again, if you want to really hear me get mad at this team and that O-line, wait for the ugly. So, interception goes down. It wasn't good for Bryce, but it wasn't good on Leggett. It was a great defensive play. Yada, yada, yada. We give the ball back, and then they would score their first touchdown of the game on 8 plays. And then that's really when the game would get kind of out of hand, as it would be 10-3. We'd get the ball back, 9-play drive, punt. They'd get the ball back, another touchdown. This one on 4 plays because that's where the 71-yard rip, I'm pretty sure, by ETN was, and not the good, not our ETN. I say the good one, like the good guy and the bad guy ETN. After that would be the second Bryce Young turnover of the game. This was a fumble, and this one was fully on Bryce Young. He scrambles out of the pocket, beautiful, picks up 4 or 5 yards. Great. Slide or go down. He stumbles over his own feet. He wants to go down, but he hesitates to go down, and then he ends up getting tackled, and in the process of getting tackled, the ball pops out before his knee hits the ground, and just like that, Jaguars ball. That one's a tough one, and that one's on Bryce Young. I can't defend him there. I can't. No matter how much I love glazing Bryce Young, I cannot defend him for that one. That was bad. He has to slide. Trevor Lawrence was sliding all game. Either slide or get down. Don't do that. So that was bad. No excuse for that one, if we're being real with each other. Not an excuse in the world for that one. We'd give the ball back. They'd score a field goal, and then that would be the end of the half. In the process of that, there was a weather delay that lasted way too long. A stupidly long amount of time. That sucked. And yeah, so moving on to the second half, we kind of fell apart. At this point, after, it was 20-3 going into the half, we'd have a scoreless third, which, hey, good for the defense. Held them off. And then we'd get a touchdown, and then they'd get 2 more field goals, which that'll end my talk about the game, because the rest of the stuff is going to be good, bad, or ugly. And shout out Nolan Thode in the chat. Coker was missed. Thielen too. And exactly, the replacement for Thielen was meant to be Coker. It was never meant to be Renfrow. Renfrow was meant to be a backup to whoever got the slot job. Renfrow wasn't good. He wasn't bad. He got targeted 6 times, but only came down with 2 catches. 2 of them, he needs to keep that ball. He just was weak on it and got tackled, and ball popped out. Unfortunate. He could have been 4 for 6 very easily, in my opinion. But alas, he wasn't. But we'll move on to the good. And as strange as this is to say, the good of the defense. We only allowed 26 points. In years prior, we've allowed 40-plus points in weeks 1 and 2. 26 points. This is a game I told everyone. I said this Friday. I said that we're more likely than not going to get up 24 to like 31 points. And just so long as we score 28 to 35 points, we'll win. And the points didn't come because the offense was, well, not good. Before we get into the bad, I do want to talk about Tedero McMillan. I'm wearing the jersey again because I have to, because he looks amazing. He's a wide receiver one NFL ready star, in my opinion. In this game, he was targeted 9 times. He would make 5 catches for 68 yards. He didn't get that touchdown like I promised, but he got the yards. Um, I mean, I said it was going to be around that 70-yard mark. He did it. He looked great while doing it. He was getting separation, no problem. And he would have gotten so many more yards. So many more. Had our O-line not crumbled. And it's so hard to talk about anything in this game without immediately going into the bad and the ugly. Because if you don't know, and I didn't say it, we lost 26-10. Big whoop. The one touchdown we got was Bryce Young on an out route to Chuba Hubbard. And then Chuba Hubbard would make one guy miss and score a touchdown. It looked great. Chuba Hubbard, good. Bryce Young, good. Don't listen to people hating on him. And don't listen to the general public. Everyone is so down on him. And I'm so... It doesn't anger me to read, but I just read it and I scoff. And I think, you have no idea. You have no idea. I watched Kyle Allen. And... for no hate on Teddy Bridgewater. I like him a lot, but I watched Kyle Allen and Teddy Bridgewater and PJ Walker and a bad Baker Mayfield and a bad Sam Darnold after December started in 2021. I've seen nothing but bad quarterback play. I saw week 1 and week 2 of last year Bryce Young, and I saw year 1 Bryce Young. This did not look like that. This looked like the good Bryce Young from last year, just in the games where he was outmatched. And this was one of those games. I think a game against the Falcons is exactly what he needs to get right back into his rhythm. I think he's going to go off. I have no doubt about that. I did lose my bet of my $1 bet. That is the bad. We'll talk about that later. The rest of the good would be J.C. Horn. Fantastic. Phenomenal. Taylor Moton, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt. Fantastic. Great. Tedero McMillan, Bryce Young, that's about it. I mean, okay, I guess we're doing it. The bad. Okay, so the D-line was okay, but we couldn't stop the run to save our lives, but I'm going to blame that more on the linebackers, and we're going to start with that. Trevin Wallace was horrible. I'm so disappointed too because I like him and I think he has a ton of potential, but he looked like a lost puppy dog half the plays out there. He didn't know what he was doing. He couldn't stop the run to save his life. Etienne was making him his little child that he was walking to the park and saying, "Oh, go on, don't worry." Oh, so bad. And then Roseboom wasn't much better, but he was slightly better. Hey, pop back over to the good. We'll talk about J.C. Horn for another second. BTJ, 1 catch. Only 1 for the star receiver for 20 yards. He would still get a touchdown on an 11-yard jet sweep, which was disappointing. I thought we were going to completely shut him down, but J.C. Horn is the truth, baby. All right, back to the bad. Shout out Nolan Thought that for that. Big fantasy football guy. Hopefully he starts writing articles. I know he'll do it about hockey, but maybe about fantasy football. He's a pretty knowledgeable guy. And we're in a defensive league. I had J.C. Horn on the bench. That's the bad. Should start him. The rest of the bad for the defense would be guys like Nick Scott, who was horrible. And then the decision making for Evero, which is more so the ugly. But I guess the bad would be Lathan Ransom only playing 8 snaps. Why? Why is he not playing more? And Princely Umalainen only playing 9 snaps. What are we doing? Play more, please. These guys are good. I don't know why you're not giving them chances, Evero. And the fact that we're still running a 3-4, we don't have 4 linebackers good enough to run that sort of scheme. We need to be running a 4-3. We have the defensive linemen and edge rushers now to do that. We don't need outside linebackers that are dropping back in coverage and not covering a soul. So that's the bad on defense. The bad on offense. Xavier Legette, bad. That first interception, I credit him for it more than Bryce Young. If you break down the film, there is a linebacker who is playing a zone coverage who eyes are only on Bryce Young. So if Bryce Young were to run, he would immediately jump up and he'd tackle him before the first down, which is okay. If Bryce Young goes down, then that's fine. Like slides early, that's fine because it's still 3rd and 3. But instead, he goes to throw, and so the linebacker then drops back into his zone. When he goes to throw, he throws to Xavier Legette, who is running at a snail's pace. It looks like he's jogging. It very, very seriously looks like he's jogging. I cannot believe that. How lackadaisically he's taking this route. And so because of that, Bryce throws it to where he's going to be, as quarterbacks do. And I feel like this is a ball that could have been at the sideline if Legette is throwing fast, but maybe with Legette, you don't throw to the sideline, as we learned later on in the game that he can't do that apparently. So Bryce Young tries to throw into an open zone. Defensive back jumps up in it, knocks the ball in the air, and then a second defensive back dives and catches it. Bryce Young could have ran. Yes, he wouldn't have gotten the first down, but he could have ran and not had the interception happen. Sure, but Xavier Legette has to play hard on that ball, has to go hard on his routes, and he looks awful. He looked awful all game. I cannot believe how bad he looks. 3 receptions for 10 yards. -3 yards after catch. He was horrible. 7 targets. Stone hands or whatever. He just has bad decision making. He doesn't have a brain for football. And that's a problem. Because he was horrible. I agree, Dad. Get Ransom out there. I mean, you're a big Ohio State fan. You know how good he is. He should be playing. Nick Scorin also didn't play as much as he should have. He only played 25% of the snaps. He was healthy. No reason he shouldn't be playing more. Oh, yeah, the good. I liked Jatavion Sanders' game. He just didn't get enough opportunity. 3 targets, 2 catches, 27 yards. He was great over the middle. The one drop he had was bad. Right in his hands. Doesn't get much better than that. Should have been 3 for 3 for like 45 yards. Regardless, though, I thought he was good. Rico Dowdle, responsible for an interception. Bad. But he did have one good run. And then the rest of the team was just not clicking today. So, the ugly was... I guess I got into it a lot, but it's the O-line. What happened? Why does one injury and one position battle ruin the entire offense? That and injuries. That and not having Jalen Coker. We are a substantially better team in both preseason games, regular season games, when Jalen Coker is playing and has a big role versus when he doesn't. And yes, we had no Adam Thielen because we traded him away. I still like that trade. I'd do it 10 times out of 10. But the fact that he's gone and now Coker is injured, what looked like a wide receiver room with a surplus of talent, looks like a wide receiver room that you take out back because it's garbage day and the dumpster is going to be collected. It's horrible. It looks so bad. Bryson Tremaine, non-factor. David Moore, non-factor. Xavier Legette hurt us more than helped us. Hunter Renfrow drops McGee, only makes 2 catches for limited yardage. He did pick up 1 first down on a good catch. Shout out to him for that, I guess. And then we have Tedero McMillan, who is going to save us, hopefully. He is our Mike Evans, I pray, but better. I think he's going to be in that elite tier. And then, yeah, so Bryce Young's official stat line was 18 completions on 35 attempts for 154 yards, 1 passing touchdown, 2 interceptions. And then he had, the 3 turnovers. And then rushing the ball, he had 5 carries for 40 yards. I thought he rushed it really well when he did. He was smart with it. He had 122-yard rush to pick up a first down and then some. I thought he moved the ball really well. Part of the ugly, though, is being in the red zone on 4th and 1, basically on the 5-yard line, and throwing it away on 4th down in the red zone. Inexcusable. They were looking for Tedero McMillan on a fade route. He could not get open. And because the play calling is so good on this team, no other wide receiver had a route that was anywhere near open or good. I don't understand it. There wasn't even a check down. And so Bryce Young has no option to run. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Shout out to little Evan Collins in the chat. Arizona next week, not Atlanta. So that's my bad. We'll see. I am afraid of I am afraid of Kyler Murray and his running ability. James Conner, old man, but I'm not worried about Marv. JC Horn is going to lock him up. Absolutely. BTJ, you saw what happened to him? Yeah, and he's established. Marv coming out that game one, fantastic, but I trust in JC Horn. So it's Arizona next week on the road, and then Atlanta at home, game 3. So that Atlanta game is the one we want to really look forward to. It's going to be tough to beat Arizona, but we beat the Cardinals last year. Who's to say we can't do it again? Although both teams are improved this year, it'll be tough. But I mean, I love the odds. I'm such an optimist, even though this team has given me no reason to be optimistic after that game one, after years and years and years. And of course, the Ohio State bias coming out at its finest in the chat. I don't know. I think that game's going to be good. And while we're talking about the ugly, something we do have to bring up is the drops issue. It was an issue last year, and we had 3 very distinct ones to go over. And so we will right now, as we have our first one here is Jatavion Sanders. It doesn't get much better than that opportunity. Down on the sidelines, in his hands, has, the room to fall out of bounds, and he just doesn't haul it down. That's what I mean. That's 20 yards right there that I could not get. And in an important game situation where it's still 10-3 and we're trying to drive and tie up that game. Then here, this is just the worst. This is the worst one. Also, shout out Jared Feinberg. But yeah, Xavier Legette, you have to put your feet down. Looking at it from here, you would think, oh yeah, he makes this catch. No, he does not. If I could get it to play here, yeah, little more zoomed in so you can actually see 1 foot down, second foot doesn't make it, and that's one of the most frustrating plays of the game. And then down here, again, I like the taking the chance, obviously, but not hitting. He gets his one hand on it, hand gets batted down, ball pops out. It's unfortunate. I love the aggression. I love the chance, and if that's a touchdown, it's a completely different game. But alas, it wasn't, and so no touchdown scores. Ugly drops. We hate those. We really do. And I love the shout out to the Madden moment, because that's as Madden moment as it gets, where he makes a great catch. He actually hauls in the ball, which, hey, this is Xavier Legette. That's kind of rare for this guy. And then he just runs out of bounds, does a bad animation. I couldn't believe it while watching. Why doesn't he stutter step? Why doesn't he dead leg? It's ugly. It's ugly. But there's still stuff to be optimistic about. As a Bryce Young owner in fantasy, I still like him going forward. Again, there's more chances for him to scramble out of the pocket, especially in the red zone. That game gave him no opportunity. It felt like we just got outmatched in every asset of the game. So, not a great first game, but very good things can come out of this. Tedero McMillan, very happy about his game. He looked fantastic. He was burning guys. That O-line, though. Let's see if I'm just checking to see if I saved the PFF grades, because I was reading about them, and some were bad on the here we go, on pass blocking. So for pass blocking only, the grades: Taylor Moton 80.8, Robert Hunt 79, Damian Lewis 71, Josh Nijman 38.4, Austin Corbett 27.7. Inexcusable. That's inexcusable. That's sick to my stomach. I'm legit. I might puke. I'm feeling queasy. I'm feeling queasy reading those stats because I'm feeling so bad. It's atrocious. It doesn't get much worse than that when it comes to O-line pass protection. Why do you think we didn't have as many yards? Why do you think Bryce Young wasn't able to air it out? Because he didn't get time. He didn't get chances. So many times, Tedero McMillan would get open, especially one. There was one he got well open, and the announcers were like, that's a touchdown if Bryce Young has time to throw. But he just gets swallowed up immediately by a rushing cornerback that doesn't get picked up by anybody. Atrocious. This tweet from Bryce the One at MoneyBryce9 on Twitter says Renfro drop, Sanders drop, Leggett drop, which was his out of bounds, like he caught it but he went out of bounds, and Austin Corbett for a downfield penalty. That's 95 yards given away from our offense. Bryce would be 12 for 15 with 145 yards if we knew how to play football. So, a little frustrating. Just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Kyle Bailey says this one is on the Panthers coaching staff. Canales and company deserve the ripping they'll get tomorrow on his radio show. Unprepared and unorganized. Outcoached by a first-year head coach in his very first game doesn't bode well. The talent was there. The talent was. It makes me feel it's very similar to the Blue Jays, but the talent's there. We're just kind of beating ourselves. And then looking at the official snap count, it was 8 for Illuminainen, 9 for Ransom. That's 12% and 14% of the game. That's ridiculous. Why are we playing 100% of the time? Nick Scott. He can't cover. What's something easy to cover? Come on now. If he was a duvet, he couldn't cover a bed. If he was a comforter, he couldn't cover me. He would be a tiny little comforter and he'd keep me cold at night. He couldn't cover a room with light if he was a flashlight. He can't do anything on the football field. I cannot stand watching this guy, and he played 100% of the snaps on defense. Diamante Richardson, I don't think he played once. Give him a shot. Why not? It can't be worse. It cannot be worse. It's just like my dad said in the chat there. Couldn't be worse than what's playing now. It cannot. And the fact we only gave up 26 points, miracle. Honestly, Turk Wharton was good. Bobby Brown III, he had some moments. Derek Brown is back. That looked great. Pat Jones is mid at best. Yeah, that's all I got. Frustrating. It really was frustrating. More frustrating than that was the fact that I couldn't even watch the game. I had to watch it through Twitter highlights and whatnot because I was out at work. How cool is that? It's super fun. So I'll wrap up my talk about the Panthers. What a game. If you do actually want the full breakdown on how the drives went for the Panthers and why I'm actually a little bit more excited about, how the next games are going to go. I went field goal, interception, which blame could be thrown around, punt, fumble. Fumble was bad, but that could be cleaned up. Turnover on downs, that was bad. That could be cleaned up. Punt, turnover on downs, that could be bad. That could be cleaned up. Touchdown, and then an interception that ends the game. And then that interception was Rico Dowdle coming out. Bryce Young throws to him on the check down. The ball is about here, like up here above his head. And so what does he do? He throws his hands up. One of them stays like flat. It bounces up off his hands and right into the hands of the defender. I cannot blame Bryce for that. I can't. I'm sorry. That's a bad no catch. That's a bad drop. And now your quarterback looks worse because of it. Before we hop over to the baseball, I just want to talk about people who are so down on Bryce Young, saying he's done, and why are we playing him? Why are we not moving on from quarterback? Tankathon has us projected to pick a quarterback 4th overall in the draft. Hate it. I hate that. Because if we look around the league, and at the other quarterbacks that played, Bryce Young was in fantasy, 26th best quarterback. Which, these stats are not correct. I don't know why that was not correct. Because he put up more points. He was the 23rd. I'm almost certain he was the 23rd best quarterback. Yeah, he was the 23rd best quarterback. Which, on a game like that, you would think 23rd best. That means that there's 9 quarterbacks. Well, no, you have to forget about 2. 7 quarterbacks that had a worse game than, Bryce Young. So, is it that bad? CJ Stroud. He had a worse fantasy performance. This is all just fantasy performances, but CJ Stroud, he had 19 completions on 27 attempts for 188 yards. No touchdown, an interception. 5 rushes, 32 yards. Very comparable game, very bad game from his draft classmate. Bo Nix, a guy that was drafted the year after. 25 completions for 176 yards, only 25 more yards. 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. That looks familiar. And he only rushed for 18 yards on 8 attempts. Joe Burrow, the star. Joe Burrow. What did he do? 14 completions on 23 attempts, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. A better game, a winning game. But those numbers are pedantic. They're not good at all. Dak Prescott, who we talked about Friday. 188 passing yards on 21 completions. No touchdowns, no interceptions. Lost. Again, I'm taking this Bryce Young game. I'm fine with it. Tua Tagovailoa, 14 completions on 23 attempts for 114 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. I'm not sweating this game. People are so down on Bryce Young. I don't get it. Sam Darnold, our former quarterback, 16 completions, 23 attempts. A lot better completion percentage. Only 150 yards, no touchdowns. I'm not down on Bryce Young. I'm not down on this team. Bring it on, Arizona. Week 2. I'm excited. I just got to hope that Budda Baker doesn't absolutely destroy Bryce Young on some blitz plays. And other than that, we'll be good. But what's not good, and something that's got me worried, is, well, the Blue Jays. Which I'm still wearing the hat. I'll still represent, and I'll still be a fan. Of course I will. I'm not gonna turn my back on them whatsoever. But, we gotta see. We gotta see some better results than what we've been getting. That Yankees series was not the most promising thing in the world. Let's just say we'll say that much. So, getting into it, we would only win 1 against the Yankees, and they are now 2 games back against us for the division lead. And I'm scared. If we're being honest with each other, terrified. We do not play today. That's why the final little bit there is what do we got tomorrow. But we got today off. But to jump into it, hey, shout out to Kevin Gausman. He's fantastic. He's a great pitcher. He pitched Friday. He would go 8 innings and dominate. Only 4 hits, 5 strikeouts. One of those hits was a home run. We don't like that. But he would only walk 1 guy in a 7-1 victory. Awesome game for Gausman. And, a good game for the bullpen. That was Fisher. He would come in and record a nice, easy inning. Not a save because we were up 7-1, but, shutout inning. It's more than most guys threw out of our bullpen, so I'll take it. This is where the yikes comes in. Saturday, a 3-1 loss. Offense dried up completely, and it wouldn't come back. Chris Bassett would be in this game. He would only give up 3 hits. He would have 2 runs against, but neither of them were earned runs. 3 strikeouts, 3 walks. Not his finest game. I'm already kind of convinced he's not going to be one of our starters in the playoffs, but, he might be able to come in for a game. It was just the offense not showing up in the slightest. I mean, in that first game, 7-1, offense, phenomenal. Springer 0 for 4, Barger 0 for 4. Ugh. Let's not talk about that. Vladdy, 4 for 5. Bo Bichette, 3 for 3. Varsho, 2 for 5. Like, really good games from those guys. Kind of carried the offense, though. As we got into that Saturday game, a 3-1 loss, Springer 0 for 3. Barger 0 for 3. Varsho 0 for 3. Jimenez 0 for 4. Heidemann 0 for 3. Just a bad game. Vladdy was 2 for 4, and Bichette was 1 for 3. Not good. And then we hop into that game Sunday, a 4-3 loss, and sadly, Max Scherzer 4 earned runs on 3 hits. He'd get 8 strikeouts in 4 1/3 inning work. Kind of wild number. And then 4 walks as well as the offense. Springer 1 for 4. He did get an extra base hit, but it wouldn't lead to anything. Schneider 0 for 3. He's not an MLB player. Kirk 0 for 3. France 0 for 4. Varsho 0 for 1. Isaiah Kinner-Falefa 1 for 3. Ernie Clement 1 for 3. Straw 0 for 4. Just the offense drying up completely. And in this game, it would be a different story than pretty much every single game in this Blue Jays series. As the game Sunday, they would score 3 in the first inning on a big home run, and then score 1 in the third, and then nothing. We would score 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and then nothing. Absolutely nothing. Shockingly enough, Berrucci, inning and 2/3, no hits, no runs. Hoffman, inning, no hits, no runs. Fisher, full inning, no hits, no runs. I'm not used to that. That is a very shocking thing for me. Sadly enough, though, they had Max Fried, who went 7 innings and was fantastic. And so I'm genuinely very worried. Not a good series for the Blue Jays offense. As soon as we faced a real team, we shriveled up. And now they're only 2 games back. Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. And we have to talk about the playoffs. We do. Because if we're playing like that, we're never going to win. We're going to lose most series. If we're in 7-game series, it'll be 4-1, 4-2 at best. If we're in 5-game series, it's going to be 3-1. Maybe we extend it to 5. But it's not good. When we face good teams, we're no longer stepping up or no longer getting wins that we used to win. It's been so tough lately for this Jays team to show what they've shown in the past. And it's really disappointing, if you ask me. And I miss it. I miss what it used to feel like. And if we're talking about the playoffs, we got to talk about the pitching situation. After that weekend, I know for a fact I no longer trust Bassett, and I sadly don't trust Max Scherzer to be starters for us. The rotation in my mind is going to be Gausman, Bieber, Barrios. Those are the 3 that I trust the most. I guess I would go Scherzer, and then I'd go Bassett, and then we'll see from there. But no optimism anymore. Not for this team. Hey, we'll be a playoff team, though. I know that much. There's no way the Rangers would get ahead of us if we slip down to the wild card. Don't have to worry about that. But there's other stuff that we definitely do have to worry about. Definitely got to worry about who we're facing. We got to worry about that Red Sox series later on in September here. And we got to beat these bad teams. If we can't beat these bad teams, then we might as well just not make the playoffs in general. That is still a possibility. We could not make it. This season, it's felt so secure and so safe this whole way until we start playing real teams and start crumbling under the real pressure. Looking at the playoffs, the Rangers are 74-70. We're 82-61. If you look at the wild card picture, it's the Yankees, Red Sox, Mariners. The Yankees are 80-63. The Red Sox are 79-65, and the Mariners are 75-68. The Rangers are 74-70, so a game and a half back on the Mariners. But if we crumble, if we lose big games against bad teams, then we might as well be in that chase with the Mariners and Texas Rangers. Because I'm nervous. I'm genuinely so nervous about the playoffs. Houston tomorrow night. We'll get into that to close out the show, but that's going to be a terrifying series. I have no clue how it's going to go, but more likely than not, probably not good because they're a good team right now. Of course, they are the worst team to be leading a division. The Yankees and the Red Sox both have a better record than them, but they're still a great team, and they've always had our number. So these are big games that we have to win. Have to win. But again, it's the optimism. It's fading for the Blue Jays. I don't got it like I do with the Panthers still. That that is still a very scary situation. And losing 2 games to the Yankees makes it worse. It's very similar to the Brewers, where it it could have been better. It should have been better, and we didn't see it. And this team is starting to crumble under pressure, under very high pressure situations like that Yankees series. And again, I said it before, I'll say it again. That Red Sox series, all eyes on the Blue Jays for them. That matters. That might as well be their World Series if we're being honest with each other. So playoffs are going to be nerve-wracking. We have to see the offense come back to, I don't know. We can't expect the 12 run and whatnot, but we need, an average of 3 runs a game. We can't do 7 runs, 1 run, 3 run, 1 run, 0 runs. Like, it's just, we need more consistency. We need to help out our pitching staff. And of course, we can never, ever get all 3 things at the same time. Good bats, starting pitcher, bullpen. And this weekend, the bullpen, shockingly good. The bats didn't hold up. The starting pitching was also mid at best. And so we fell apart. Very, very disappointing. Looking around the league, though, the news, we got Scorigami last night. Very disappointing for Ravens fans. Very good for Bills fans, as the Bills would win 41-40 in one of the most exciting football games ever played. I fell asleep during this game while the score was 40-25, I'm pretty sure was the score. I was like, all right, I'm going to sleep. I can't, keep going. There's too much. I'm like, I'm too tired. Yeah, enough is enough. Very clearly, I missed an amazing game that would win on a field goal for the Bills, as the box score would be unreal. The first quarter, a 7-3 lead for the Bills. Second quarter, 17-6 for the Ravens. Third quarter, 14-6 for the Ravens. Fourth quarter, 22-6 for the Bills. There were missed 2-point conversions. The Ravens could have went for it on 4th down a couple times. It was absolutely unreal. One of the best Sunday Night Football games ever, apparently. I'm so sad I slept through it. Gonna have to find a way to watch this game back because it was apparently unreal. James Cook had 102 yards, 44 rushing yards, 58 receiving yards, a touchdown in the air, a touchdown rushing. Keon Coleman, the guy drafted 1 pick or 2 picks? 2 picks after Xavier Legette. 112 yards on 8 receptions and a touchdown. That makes me so happy. The other guy that was drafted 1 pick after Xavier Legette was Ladd McConkey, who had a very good game 1, 70 yards on a couple catches. Could be better. It could be better than what it is right now, and yet it's not. Anyways, yeah. Just disappointing. I'm so disappointed. But Josh Allen, 394 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 30 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Made a couple of people really happy with their bets last night. And then on Baltimore's side, Lamar 14 for 19 in the air versus Josh Allen's 33 for 46. Lamar Jackson would have 209 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 6 carries for 70 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Derrick Henry would have 182 yards on 2 touchdowns. Or not on, but with 2 touchdowns. 169 rushing yards with 13 receiving yards. He is a beast. I don't know how he still does it. Zay Flowers had 151 receiving yards on 7 receptions, 1 touchdown. And DeAndre Hopkins would make an unreal one-handed catch. Wow, love sneezes. A great game. And then we'll see if the Bears game can hold up. Of course, I'm going to be hate watching that because we gave them the picks to draft half their team. So, boo the Bears. I'm trying to stop more sneezes from coming. So, I guess we'll look forward to tomorrow. What do we got? Well, we'll talk about AEW Collision because I'm going to watch that tonight. Apparently, it was really good. We'll find out. Apparently, a lot of big things were going on. So tomorrow will be a big AEW day. Excuse me. Excuse my nose going off. This is bad timing for it, but it's gonna be a big day for AEW. We'll talk Collision. We'll try to talk, dive deeper into the Panthers. Maybe we'll do some film review tomorrow together. And then, of course, big day for the Blue Jays. Disappointing weekend, though. Disappointing sports weekend. Tough loss for the Panthers. Tough losses for the Blue Jays. We'll see. Now, I hate to disappoint, but I'm getting really stuffy. I'm starting to feel a little sick. I'm going to cut it short. It's going to be a 45-minute instead of hour episode of Curtis Collings Presents the Sports Hour. But I do want to thank you for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow. Big AEW Collision Day. Lots to look forward to, so make sure you do tune in. That will wrap this one up, though. So, till next time, thank you very much. It's been Curtis Collings.